democracy.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. First of all, if there's the kind of noise I go on here today, I walking up the stage now. I want to hear some noise. I want to hear some noise in Apuna. I want to hear some noise in Apuna. We come here to make some noise. We want the PNM to hear us. Like they have been hearing us. We have them running scared. The political leader informed. Not so? Not so? The political leader not looking good? All right. Well, listen. I'd like to welcome everybody, especially my people in from Tinapuna constituency. All of you, thanks so much for making the trip. Clap yourselves. I would like to welcome all our senators, our MPs, all distinguished guests. And, of course, a lot of my supporters and a few of my enemies. As we stand here today, we have to recognize that when we talk about Keith Rowley and the PNM, and we talk about the bully that Keith Rowley is, that is not, we don't care that Keith Rowley is a bully in isolation. Keith Rowley can come and bully all day long in the PNM and kick up people in Balize house. We don't care about that. What we care about are the policies that a bully enacts. That is what we care about. We care somebody with the psychosis of a Keith Rowley, what he does. And this is what we are seeing reflected in the conditions now of Trinidad and Tobago. So when we see Keith Rowley, and we see the people that he has put around him, I mean, not to segue, but when we just look at what happened in Parliament today, and we look at the unnecessary arrogance of the acting Prime Minister, Coleman, in answering questions put to him, we have to realize that a bully's influence extends beyond his own personal space. And that is what has infiltrated the PNM. They are all bullies. They have become all bullies. So when Ayanna Webster Royce asked about children being placed in homes after that fire in Tagarigua, her answer was a curt, arrogant no to a question where we, the opposition, are asking questions not on our behalf. We are asking questions on behalf of who? You, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Not so? We want to know what were the state of the children, where were they placed? She come and give an answer? No. Following who? Somebody like Coleman. That is his answer, no. And they feel that is something that affects the opposition. Not realizing that we represent the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We have to ask the questions on your behalf, even on behalf of the supporters of the PNM. And this is what has been missing in the narrative here. Why? Because there are no bullies without accomplices. There are no political bullies without accomplices. And that's where we look at the mainstream media, the Guardian and the Express, CNC 3, TV 6. They don't ask the hard questions. The UNC is the medium that brought this PNM government to book. We expose Amur. We expose the Children's Authority. We expose that this government has been delinquent with Petrotrin. We expose every single thing that we are seeing now. And that is down to the hard work of the people of the UNC. And we have to recognize that. And we have to applaud that. Because we will not give up in our endeavor to bring some equity to Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is too deserving our country, too blessed with resources, for us to watch the answer given in Parliament today about those, they say 4,000, my understanding was closer to 8,000 people, lining up for jobs on the Royal Caribbean cruise. And look at the answer given about that. The PNM is proud to announce that the Royal Caribbean cruise were given 2,000 jobs to Trinidad and Tobago. I have to tell Coleman, but it's only PNM could do that. Pauperize a country, and make it look like they're doing something to help the country. Where those 8,000 people come from? Unemployed, fighting for 2,000 jobs. And that arrogant man called Cummingwood could stand up and pretend that Trinidad and Tobago government all of a sudden have shares in Royal Caribbean Cruise. That's what he said. He talked like if Trinidad and Tobago, we have shares in Royal Caribbean Cruise, and they come and organize this whole thing. We now begging for our people, our bright, resourceful people, to be working on a cruise ship. And we're not disparaging people who work on a cruise ship, but we have to recognize where the PNM has brought this country to, where they have brought our bright and best to where? On their knees. On their knees. And we know, if we look at some of the PNM people, they like to see people on their knees. I wouldn't expound, but we know what we're talking about. It's just what it is. So when we recognize that this PNM government, not only responsible for the economic rot in the country, they're responsible for that pandemic, what we saw, that epidemic now of bullying we see in the schools. That didn't just come so. That didn't just come so. When you take away laptops from children, you cut gates where education was the way, scholarships was the way to take people out of poverty, to give them some direction. When you cut sports, forget about cutting sports. When you put a dunce in sport, like Shamfa Kajo, compared to who the UNC had as the best minister of sport ever, Arnold Roberts. What do you expect? What do you expect? For worse results, athletics, football, cricket, worse in everything, underuse, misuse of stadia. And who look to sports? The people in the poor and disadvantaged communities. They depend on sports. They depend on education. But you cut that. But what? You can make all neglect appeals and end up paying $852 million when you could have been more prudent in that regard. You pay $250 million to satisfy a board of directors and lose that. And still in the pandemic, begging for laptops everywhere from everybody. All these things matter. All those policies, ill-advised, ill-thought of, are the result of the mentality of a bully. And it's not Rowley alone. As I mentioned before, bullies have accomplices. Bullies have people to support their policies. So we put in on notice the Guardian and the Express. We're not letting up. We're going hard at them. I see again this time for 2 minutes, but I feel like going longer than 2 minutes. In a rebellious mood. What do you say? Tinapuna, let me hear. We're not letting up, and here why. When you are a bully, you could take a 2 cents Attorney General. When we expose him, the UNC did that, and then go and demote him to a Bush lawyer, and then bring a 1 cent lawyer to be Attorney General. So from 2 cents to 1 cent, in other words, this PNM government going from bad to worse, from bad to worse. The only thing left to do is what? Call election, seek a new mandate, let the people decide. Listen, brothers and sisters, Leonardo da Vinci, he's the one who said, it's easy to hate or love. But before you hate or love anyone, first you have to understand that person. I think the entire country now understands who Keith Rowley is. We understand that this is a man who cares nothing, not only for UNC, he cares nothing for even the people who support the PNM. Because everybody in Trinidad and Tobago is suffering. So what are we left to do as a people? We have but one choice. We have but one choice. That is unite behind the United National Congress, unite behind our leader, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, unite behind our people and bring this government down. so that we can elevate Trinidad and Tobago to the place where we must be, where we have to be, where we deserve to be. Trinidad and Tobago, loving the house from the red man all the time. Loving the house all the time.
The people's revolution. This is the revolution.